Board of Directors meeting. It is 6:30 on July 22nd, 2020. We are doing Zoom video conferencing. Mr. Howell?
Kate Briggs.
Present.
Jenny Butler.
Present.
Jenny Cummings.
Here.
Marge Gavoni.
Here.
Pete Hensler.
Here.
Anna Keeney.
Here.
Kate Levier.
Here.
Scott McLean. And Christina Small.
Here.
Okay, I will lead the Pledge of Allegiance. Will you all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Howell, are there any adjustments to the agenda?
There's one adjustment to the agenda, which was a typo, and it's found in section 8, number 3, and it's within the first sentence. It says the awarded bid for 1, and it should be for 3 2021 Bluebird Vision Type C buses.
Okay, thank you. It is now time for public input. And I just want to let people know, if you would like to speak, if you would like to be recognized, please dial *9, and that will raise your hand and I can call on you. I'm going to use the last 4 digits of your phone number, so that will be helpful. So does anybody have a burning desire to speak at public comment? Mr. Densmore.
Hey, so I did check out the agenda, and there's and I'm very new to all of this, so please bear with me. But one of the things that I didn't see addressed in this particular meeting is plans for the fall with respect to the current pandemic. I'm a resident in Norway, so I'm in Oxford County. We have some slightly different things going on, maybe not. And I'm not sure if now is the time to kind of touch base with all of you about that. But I'd kind of like to hear more about what your plans are so we can make an educated decision. My daughter's mom and I can make an educated decision about what we should do in the fall. Thank you.
Mr. Howell, do you want to address that?
Sure, and I'm not sure if you had a chance to read our most current community update that we did last Friday that went out to the greater community, but we are in the midst of planning for 3 different possibilities, which is full in-person, a partial opening, and then turn back to distance learning. Next Friday, we will receive notification from, and not this coming one, which would be the 24th, it'd be the 31st. We'll receive notification from the Maine Department of Education and the Maine CDC what our level of opening is going to be. And we will be looking next week to be sending out surveys to parents, which includes what our plan will be for opening, as well as feedback that we need to have in order to execute whatever level that we'll be given the opportunity to open at. So we're not sure, being in Cumberland County, if we will be in red, which is full distance learning, or if we will be in a opportunity for partial hybrid. I doubt, given where we live, that we'll be in the green with a full opening. So we continue to plan for all 3 and pushing out community information as far as our plan for opening once we know to what level that we can.
Thank you, and a brief follow-up or perhaps a comment. I'm really just mostly considering the health of all the staff that are involved, all the students and families. So this is not meant to be kind of a gotcha comment, and really, I guess I really hope that if the school board for RSU 14 has any say in what actually takes place, I would hope that we all can see kind of the irony about meeting together over Zoom when we're talking, and there's only a handful of us here when we're talking about putting our children back in the classrooms. So I really appreciate your diligence and your concern and your caution for every single student, every staff person, every family member that's involved. So thank you guys.
I would like to assure you that that irony is not lost on us. So, and it is certainly a meme that we have seen and agree with.
The meme thing, I know it's all over the place. I kind of came across this on my own before even seeing it get blown up all over the internet.
We all feel that, people, that
Okay, thank you very much.
acknowledgement. Thank you. Okay, I don't see anybody else raising their hands, so I would like to move on with the warrants. Mrs. Bricks? You're muted, Kate. You can't say.
That's important. Let me try that again. I move to approve the warrant for assessment of regional school unit tax and to approve the assessment schedule and notice of installments in the format presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Jenny Cummings,
Aye.
Christina Small,
Yes.
Kate Levier,
Yes.
Kate Bricks,
Yes.
Marge Scavone,
Yes.
Jenny Butler,
Yes.
Anna Keeney,
Jeez.
Yes, did that work this time?
yes, Pete Hensler.
Aye.
Okay, the motion carries. Could I have Marge do number 7, please?
Okay, the RSU 14 budget referendum results. I move to vote that the computation and declaration of votes dated and attached hereto be and is hereby approved. Further, that the computation and declaration of votes be entered upon the records of Regional School Unit 14, the Regional School Unit. Further, a certified copy of the computation and declaration of votes be sent to each of the municipal clerks within the regional school unit.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any public comment? Any board discussion? All those in favor?
Jenny Cummings,
Aye.
Christina Small,
Yes.
Kate Levier,
Yes.
Kate Bricks,
Yes.
Marge Scavone,
Yes.
Jenny Butler,
Yes.
Anna Keeney,
Yes.
Pete Hensler.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. Jenny, would you do the lease purchase of school bus?
Yes, I move to vote to authorize the superintendent to enter into the financing agreement for the lease purchase of the awarded bid for one 2021 Bluebird Vision Type C diesel school bus through Gorham Leasing at $44,925 at 1.68% fixed amortized over 5 years at an annual cost of $9,292.84. Should that be in the best interest of the district pursuant to 20 AMRSA subsection 5401-15C in the format presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any public comment? Christina. Board discussion. Christina.
I was just curious as to why we were financing this at a different bank than the iPads.
Each of our financing agreements are competitively bid. And so it's whoever is providing the lowest interest rate.
Okay.
And just if I can also add one other piece for the board, this bus is separated out from the other buses because this one is being purchased, the remaining of the funds through Volkswagen settlement monies for the diesel award. And that's why it's at a lower price than what the other buses are. And you'll also notice that this one is a diesel and the other ones are gas buses, and that's part of a plan to get some greater efficiency within the fleet.
Mr. Dinsmore has raised his hand. I'd like to a head nod if that's okay with people, if we go back to that. Okay, Mr. Densmore, we recognize
Thank you. I think it's a great idea. Yeah, keep your eyes peeled on safe new vehicles as best you can, and it sounds like you guys got a decent price. So that's
Thank
all I
you.
have to say about that.
Okay, all those in favor?
Jenny Cummings,
Aye.
Christina Small,
Yes.
Kate Levier,
Yes.
Kate Bricks,
Yes.
Marge Gavoni,
yes,
Jenny Butler,
Yes.
Anna Keeney,
Yes.
Pete Hensler.
Aye.
The motion carries. Okay, Jenny,
Okay, I move that the vote entitled Vote to Authorize Lease Purchase of one 2021 Bluebird Vision Type C Diesel School Bus in the principal amount up to $44,925 be adopted in form presented to this meeting.
Second.
been moved and seconded. Any public comment? Any board discussion? All those in favor?
Jenny Cummings,
Aye.
Christina Small,
Yes.
Kate Levier,
Yes.
Kate Bricks,
Yes.
Marge Gavoni,
yes,
Jenny Butler,
Yes.
Anna Keeney,
Yes.
Pete Hensler.
Aye.
Okay. Kate,
I move to vote to authorize the superintendent to enter into the financing agreement for the lease purchase of the awarded bid for three 2021 Bluebird Vision Type C gas school buses through Gorham Leasing at $289,500 at a 1.68% fixed amortized over 5 years at an annual cost of $59,883.73, should that be in the best interest of the district pursuant to 20A MRSA subsection 540115C in the format presented.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded. Any public comment? Any board discussion? All those in favor?
Jenny Cummings,
Aye.
Christina Small,
Yes.
Kate Levier,
Yes.
Kate Bricks,
Yes.
Marge Gavoni,
yes,
Jenny Butler,
Yes.
Anna Keeney,
Yes.
and Pete Hensler.
Aye.
The motion carries. Kate,
I move that the vote entitled Vote to Authorize Lease Purchase of three 2021 Bluebird Vision Type C gas school buses in the principal amount of up to $289,500 be adopted in form presented to this meeting.
Second.
been moved and seconded. Any public comment? Any board discussion? All those in favor?
Jenny Cummings,
Aye.
Christina Small,
Yes.
Kate Levier,
Yes.
Kate Bricks,
Yes.
Marge Gavoni,
yes,
Jenny Butler,
Yes.
Anna Keeney,
Yes.
Pete Hensler.
Aye.
Motion carries. Christina,
I move we vote to authorize the superintendent to enter into the financing agreement for the lease purchase of the awarded bid through Androscoggin Bank for 242 iPads and accessories through Apple Incorporated at $98,759.90 at 1.57% interest, amortized over 4 years at an annual cost of $25,269.87, should that be in the best interest of the district pursuant to 20A MRSA subsection 540115C in the format presented.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded. Any public comment? Any board discussion? All those in favor?
Jenny Cummings,
Aye.
Christina Small,
Yes.
Kate Levier,
Yes.
Kate Bricks,
Yes.
Marge Gavoni,
yes,
Jenny Butler,
Yes.
Anna Keeney,
Yes.
and Pete Hensler.
Aye.
Motion carries. Christina,
I move that the vote entitled Vote to Authorize Lease Purchase of 242 iPads in the principal amount of up to $98,759.90 be adopted in the form presented to this meeting.
Second.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any public comment? Any board discussion? All those in favor?
Janie Cummings,
Aye.
Christina Small,
Yes.
Kate Levier,
Yes.
Kate Bricks,
Yes.
Marge Gavoni,
yes,
Jenny Butler,
Yes.
Anna Keeney,
yes,
Pete Hensler.
Aye.
Phew, that was the fastest we've gotten through all these emotions like this. So could we have the superintendent's report, please?
Yeah, and I just wanted to share a couple minutes, and I'm glad that James had a chance to kind of preempt this in some of the public comment. Obviously, one of the biggest things that we've been working on for the last 6 to 8 weeks has been a reentry plan for RSU 14 and how to do that safely, not only for students, but for our staff members as well. And so information went out last Friday from the governor and Maine Department of Education. They partnered with Maine CDC and are looking at community transmission rates, and based upon those transmission rates, making the decision for districts or providing information to districts to what level that they could possibly open. And I know we had talked about it even prior to the announcement of the red, yellow, and the green, but again, for the public, red would be in full distance learning, yellow would be the possibility of a hybrid, and green would be a return to full person. In each of these scenarios, specifically the yellow and the green, the only way that that could be accomplished would be that if a district was following all of the CDC guidelines that were provided for that school. So even if a school is in a place in rural Maine that's in the green, everything required within that checklist would need to be done. So major items that districts would have to accomplish: everyone would have to do symptom screening before coming to school, that there would need to be physical distancing so that students no less than 3 feet apart, staff members no less than 6 feet apart, work on facilities to make sure that they're properly being cleaned, that there's proper airflow and ventilation that's going on, masks and face coverings for every single individual who works in the building. That's not a negotiable item. Even if a school wants to open in the green, they would have to follow masks and face coverings for everyone. Teaching proper hand hygiene, making sure that we have personal protective equipment for everyone involved, and then making sure that we have a protocol for people returning to school after an illness. So Christine has been leading individuals in the district, and we've been working through a plan that we will hope to get into a final draft here within the next week or so in preparation for our announcement. And as part of that plan, we will need to come to you as board members to have you approve that plan, to review it, and to make sure that you're comfortable with it before we have any opportunity to open up. One thing that's unique about this, let's call it a metric or a notification system, is that it will be updated by the Maine Department of Education and Maine CDC every 2 weeks, depending upon how conditions change within communities. And so, again, we're planning for possible hybrid opportunities with kids in school or in district 2 days a week, and in distance learning 2 days a week at half capacity. We are also ramping up, should we be in distance, the type of distance opportunities and materials that we're providing for staff to support them, and materials we can provide to students and families. And then we've been doing, Bill Hansen's been doing some incredible work with our facilities, increasing amount of airflow, replacing faucets with touchless faucets, touchless toilets, making sure that all of our sanitizing materials and things that are in place, making sure that if we decide to move in that direction, that we then have the possibility to open to whatever level. The other thing we'll be doing next week is sending up a follow-up survey to the communities so that they can have a chance to weigh in a little bit more. and also to work with families to determine should we open, which families feel comfortable sending students back and which ones don't feel comfortable. In addition, which staff members might be dealing with health issues or other things that might prevent them from being able to come back to work. And so being able to work through that process. So tremendous amount of work that's being done behind the scenes. Much of this is entirely dependent upon what the Maine CDC and what Maine Department of Education give us to a level to open. For those of you who might be interested, the model is based upon, it was a model created at Harvard, which looks at the 7-day rolling average for transmission rates. And you can see on that model across the country where different communities are at. So we'll be sending out information as soon as we have it. But again, we wanted the public to know that this is our #1 priority. It's the thing that we're all working on. But if we're gonna do it, we're gonna make sure that it's done safely and that we're meeting the needs of our communities and our families and our kids.
Okay, thank you. I had 2 questions. Pete, did you want to continue your question? You were first.
My question had been about how often this would be updated if we start off as red, how often that would be reviewed. But then, is it always going to be by county, Chris, as far as you know? Or is there an opportunity if different towns or whatever have different
That was
transmission rates?
It's a great question, and it was discussed in one of my afternoon meetings today, because you have the town of Harpswell, which is in Cumberland County, which has 0 cases. And then you also have Lake Region off to our west, who their combined cases, I think, are about the same level as what's been in Raymond for the single town of Raymond. And I know Maine CDC and Maine DOE have reached out to those districts to look at possible opportunities to be treated a little differently. One of the things that we learned which was a comment that was made in the governor's press conference, is that within counties, you often will have someone who lives in one spot and then works in another. And so they would want to take a close look at where is the majority of traffic traveling within a community before they gave a permission such as that. But there is some possibility moving forward of some zip code work, Pete.
All right, thanks.
Christina?
I have seen on social media a lot more families than I expected saying that they are not sending their kids to school in the coming year. Is there a chance that if there is enough of those families who are keeping their kids home, that we have opportunity for other students who maybe have 2 working parents that cannot school them, that maybe they can be in school more? Is that a possibility?
One of the things that we're trying to accomplish through the survey is exactly that, Christina, to see who is coming and who's not. I think we then need to take a look at the numbers and then look at an equitable distribution. So whether it's 3 days on or 2 days on, to see what it is that we can pull off. It also might be, depending upon the numbers, I mean, if you want to go to the far end, that as long as you're maintaining all the safety protocols, conceivably in the future, you could get everybody back in who is wanting to go to school. I think that's a little ways off at the moment for that, but we would want to take a look at overall numbers. The other place, Christine, I thought you were going to go with your question is that we know that we may have staff members because of health conditions who may not be able to, and so there may also be opportunities for distance learning provided through the RSU for those families, and looking at classrooms a little differently, maybe some multi-age options, which we're exploring as well.
Okay, I have a second question, if that's okay. I believe you stated, if I was listening carefully, that everybody who worked in the buildings was going to be wearing face coverings, but you didn't specify if the kids were going to be required to wear face coverings. Can you confidently say whether or not that's going to be the case?
Yeah, it's right in Maine CDC guidance. All students ages 2 and above will be required to wear face masks.
Okay.
And the other thing we've learned is that that's a non-negotiable. We've also learned that if we are open, that we also need to build in some mask breaks for students so that they have the opportunity to take them off throughout the day.
Marge?
Chris, will be part of what is also going to be looked at is the fact that there are students from RSU 14 who go to vocational schools, which are in 2 different towns, plus the fact Raymond has choice. So students from Raymond, I think the ones that are out, I'm not sure Jenny would know better, are pretty scattered as to where they might be. So will that be like part of the plan? What happens with those particular students?
There's the high school principals are working on individual plans for the vocational students. And one of the items of discussion is what days that each of the vocational schools are going to be open, because we want to make sure that we give our kids maximum options for that. One thing that they're taking a look at is how much mixing are we going to be doing of students at the vocational schools, because if you think about it,
Yeah.
we know who our kids are. We know, I hate to say this, where they've been, but who they're with and all those different things. But it becomes a little more difficult when you are cross-mixing, cross-pollinating school districts.
Okay, Anna, did you have a question?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Jenny. I don't know if it's a question so much as a statement. I was curious about the students wearing masks as well. So I appreciate that clarification. The other thing that I assume that we're taking into consideration, but I guess maybe for my own peace of mind, I just need to hear it out loud. Knowing that this is reevaluated every 2 weeks, that means we could conceivably be doing a blended return 1 week, and 2 weeks later we could be in the red and say no, everybody's got to go home, and then 2 weeks later it could change again. So are we taking into consideration the difficulty and the impact that needing to flex on the fly like that would have on students and staff and families? Because we do, if you're changing like that, childcare becomes a nightmare. It's tough enough as it is, but having that constant unknown is going to be real tough.
Yeah, and you are absolutely right, is that I think it puts a very difficult burden on families. And honestly, I think it's a difficult burden on families regardless of the model that we move forward with. So I think the word that, the word we've been sharing as an administrative team is nimbleness and flexibility. Those are 2 words, but making sure that we're preparing for a variety of scenarios. I think the other piece, Anna, that goes along with that, especially looking at our kids at the high school level, making sure that coursework and the sequence of coursework is going to make sense, and that is, I know that's important at every single level, but especially when we get into junior and senior year, some of that becomes a little bit more high stakes. So Ryan's been working on a couple different models that we'll share when we share the full model on how do we make sure that those students and some of those more high stakes things are fully supported.
I have one question, then go to Mr. Dinsmore. Will we need to meet before the August 5th meeting, or will you have that information by that meeting? Will our approval be at that time, or?
No, I think what makes sense would be we'll know much more on July 29th. We'll have much more information for the board and from families for the August 5th meeting. I think what makes sense is for the August 5th meeting for us to walk through the plan and dedicate that meeting to that, and then look at an eventual board meeting for final approval of the plan. I think one thing, and Anna, you just hit it, is that you could conceivably have something that happens July 29th, and then by, July 31st. And then, what is that, August 9, 10, 11, somewhere in there, you may actually have a different designation for Cumberland County. So the plan is what's going to drive what happens in each one of those levels.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Dinsmore.
Thanks again for your time, everyone. I suppose I've talked to a number of families, teachers in my area, and we're all kind of having a hard time wrapping our heads around the idea that children above 2 will be able to wear their masks. And Mr. Howell, with respect, you did mention, mask breaks. I'm sure there's protocol around that, but what, I mean, are there any plans with respect to perhaps, I don't know, just perhaps parents sending their children to school and insisting that they don't wear them? I mean, are you talking a disciplinary issue? Is there a better way to frame the refusal to wear a mask outside of a disciplinary action? I mean, what kind of supports do we have in place for those children that are, for better or for worse, they're really living their choices through their parents' decision making at this time? I am kind of concerned. I'm not going to blame all the kids for wanting to play with their mask. I was young at one point. I know that's what we do. But what is there a plan? And if so, what is it in terms of RSU 14's position for children that really just the mask is not working for them? Thank you.
So I'll answer your question the best that I can, which is that if a school wants to open, students need to wear a mask. We've been given, basically that's the I don't want to use the word edict, but I think edict is the best word, that if districts want to open, then they need to follow this protocol. I think with everything, we would work with families. Are there other things other than a mask, a face shield that might work for a student? But we've been basically given the word, if we want to open, that this is going to be one of the conditions that has to be for opening, and that there's nothing around it. And the guidance is going on further that we will need to exclude students from school who aren't wearing a mask. And I can't get into a mask debate because it's not one way or the other. This is the guidance that we've been given. And again, if a district wants to open and wants to offer in person, then this is something that Maine CDC and Maine DOE says we have to require. So it's the best I can give you for an answer.
And I do appreciate that. I really do. I'm really getting the sense that you guys are all very concerned and trying to put your best foot forward. And so thank you for all of that. And I hope to attend future meetings. And I wish my first one was not under these circumstances, frankly.
Well, thank you. Oh, we have a lot of fun. There's some times when we get kids to come, and it's really wonderful. Okay, so could I have a motion to adjourn, please? Pete.
I don't want to. I'm having too much fun. No. I move to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Jenny Cummings,
Aye.
Christina Small,
Yes.
Kate Levier,
Yes.
Kate Bricks,
Yes.
Marge Gavoni,
Yes.
Jenny Butler,
Yes.
Anna Keeney,
Yes.
and Pete Hensler.
Aye.
Okay, we have a 2-week vacation, everyone. See you August 5th. Thanks for your time. Bye. Thanks, Mr. Dinsmore.